Good morning, everybody. This is the Boho Granny, and I'm back in Mississippi. Getting ready to do a gypsy caravan build. And so I'm going to be looking for bits and pieces and making bits and pieces that I can't find to buy. And I will video all of that. I wanted to do some more video on my trip to GW, the Gulf War S.A.S.E event in Lumberton, Mississippi. But that didn't happen. And let me tell you why. Because we had a tornado. So the day I was actually thinking I would go out and video and talk to everybody, and I had interviews lined up, we got hit by a tornado. So I hid in ultimately my truck. So basically what happened is it came in, rain was pouring down, and I had been walking around looking for everything and getting things set up so I could go and start filming. And of course I was in period clothing from head to toe, inside and out. And when it started raining, I started running, and I got to my trailer, which was several, seemed like miles away, and which wasn't, but it was pretty far. And I was drenched, so I took all my outer clothing off, and I'm wearing my shift, and I'm sitting in my RV, and I forgot that I'd left my awning open, and all of a sudden my trailer is doing this thing, and we all know that trailers are magnets for tornadoes, right? So I'm on the phone talking to my husband. My trailer's doing this thing, and I'm looking out the door, and I'm seeing the awning doing this thing, and I'm screaming, and he's telling me, get out of the trailer, get in the truck, it's heavier. And I'm like, I can't get out, because by this time the awning has fallen over the front of my door. Yes. And so I'm like telling him I can't get out, because every time I push the door out, the awning is like now this big gigantic sail that's holding the door shut. And I basically, told him I had to call him back. I got off the phone. I managed to get the door open. I'm not thinking. I have no shoes on. I'm wearing nothing but a shift. If you don't know what that is, it is pretty much a huge, humongous slip that you wear underneath medieval clothing to keep your clothing cleaner than if it was touching your skin, because washing clothes back then was a nightmare. So I pry it open, I come out, and I'm getting hit sideways by wind, and my shift is getting drenched. And if you guys know anything about the medieval era, the common folk did not wear bras. So it became a head-to-toe wet shift contest as I ran to my truck. I got in my truck, I turned it on, I tried to save other people, but they were hunkered down in a safer place than I was at, so I hurried up and got myself out of there. Sitting in the truck, talking to my husband, watching the trees wave back and forth and break and fall, and leaves coming way sideways and sticking and gluing onto the side of my truck. And when it was finally over, I went back. I got into my trailer, and it was a disaster. Things were thrown everywhere. Everything was wet. And it wasn't because water was coming in because of leaks. Water was being forced in through the cracks of my windows. So I cleaned that up. Could not break down my trailer to take it home, so I had to wait for my husband to drive down to help me get out of there. So, long story short, even though it's not, I didn't get anything. I did do some pictures, which I've been flashing, and so you got to see those. Got home, got everything cleaned up. I was home 2 days and found out that one of my favorite cousins had passed away. I call her my aunt because she was quite a bit older. She was my second cousin. But, so I went to my Aunt Kathy's funeral in Utah, and that's where I've been, and I just got back from. Coming back was another trip, but we won't go into that. So while I was out there, as you can see, I got my hair colored. I got rid of some of that white that was going on. I got my lashes put on. What do you think? Hopefully you can see those a little bit. Had a little bit of accident over here, this redness in my eye. Let me tell you, when you are in a salon sitting in a chair and you got color in your hair, that kind of rhymed, you're not really thinking about what could possibly go into your eye and cause problems. But I had an individual spray hairspray over the top of me. She came up behind me and was spraying hairspray, and when she started spraying, it lodged a dry piece of hairspray off, and I thought it just hit me right over here. So I went like that. I didn't have my glasses on because I had hair color in my hair. So I really didn't think too much of it until about, I don't know, not even a minute later, and I started feeling burning and itching, so I started doing this. Wrong. It hadn't, it was still a hard chunk of plastic, well, hairspray. So I ended up scratching my eye. I mean, scratching the tissue of my eye. And it started getting all bloody and gross. And this is before the funeral. The day before the funeral. So, yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible. Now, the person that came and sprayed the hairspray wasn't thinking, didn't think it. I wasn't thinking. It wasn't done on purpose. But if you go into a salon and you're going to borrow someone's hairspray and someone's sitting in a chair, spray it somewhere else. Just, I'm not mad or anything. It was a perfectly innocent accident. But it also, if you feel something that hits clear or close to your eye, you don't know if it's in your eye or if it's around your eye, but if it's anywhere in the proximity of your eye, I suggest you go and rinse it out. I mean, whether it's in there or not, just rinse. So that way you know it's not in there, or if it is in there, you flush it out and you don't scratch your eye, causing problems. Because it was yucky, as you can see. So, there goes for that. So I got my hair done, and I got my tattoo completed. I had a friend of mine do it in white, and it just didn't show up very well because I'm not as dark as I used to be, apparently. And I wasn't going to do it, but I came across another person that I knew, and I showed it to her, and I was like, I think I need it darker. And she's like, well, why don't you come over? And which was 2 doors down from the salon. And she says, pick a color, any color. So I picked purple. And that came out a lot stronger, as you can see. So now I can't tell my husband that I forgot to put my ring on because it's there permanently. And he's got one too. So I didn't do it by myself. The first time we went into a friend of mine's, and we got them done at the same time. He chose black, which you can still see. I chose white, and I kind of figured, it would show up more, and it didn't, because it was more the same color as my skin. So it wasn't a real true white. It was kind of like an off-white. And you could see it kind of a little bit, but not too much. So now you can see it all. And I don't want my friend who did the original one to be upset, because I did like it. It's just it wasn't dark enough. And I would have gone back to her, but I was in Utah doing, my own thing. And she, my other friend was like, hey, let me da-da-da. So there we go. That's done there. I'm home. I've got good old projects ready to go. Lots of stuff to start filming. And that's it. So I will be putting more. I know I've been promising the last couple ones, but here you go. I will be putting more on. You will see more, and we will go from there. So the season is starting. We are going to have a lot of good fun, and I hope you guys stay tuned. Remember, if you like what you see, please push the like button and subscribe. If you know somebody who is interested in the stuff that we're doing, Share it with them. Say, hey, look at this crazy lady. And most of the time, her crazy granddaughter is with her. And we have fun. So you can follow me here on YouTube, and if you do the subscribe, every time I do a new video, it will post and you will see, it will let you know that there's something new up. You can also follow me on Facebook, which is, www.facebook.com/The Boho Granny, or you can follow me at Twitter at The Boho Granny. If you'd like to send me in a show idea or a project idea, or just, want to write to me, please keep it nice. You can do that by writing the Boho Granny or the Boho Baby, care of Alissa DeAmonti, P.O. Box 24, Edwards, Mississippi 39066. And if you send me a self-addressed stamped envelope, I will write you back. So here you go. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want. And we will try to achieve to make you happy. But for now, see ya. And I hope to see you down the road.